When the lights come on, she's ready to rise. Donnelly steps up with faith in her eyes. Puzzle pieces fitting, stars up in the sky. With every prayer and song, she'll make your spirit fly.
She's got the voice that can heal the soul. Singing, gaming, she's on a roll. Star Wars battles to her prayerful light. Donnelly's shining through the night. Shine on, Donnelly's, you light up the way. Singing, praying, bringing hope today.
From puzzles to the force, you're always on. Donnelly's,
You're our shining star. In the game or the prayer, she's standing tall. With every step, she answers the call. Blessings in her heart, light in her soul. With Donnelly's, we're ready to roll.
raise your hands, feel the groove. With her faith and her love, you can't lose.
From the galaxy far to the prayers so deep, Donnelly's is the joy we keep.
Shine on, Donnelly's, you're the light we need.
With every song and every prayer you lead.
From puzzles to the force, you're always on. Donnelly's, you're our shining song. Shine on, Donnelly's. Shine on.
Hello, sweetie. Good morning, and happy Friday! How is everybody today? How is the music compared to me? I just want to make sure that everything is all balanced, that nothing happened to make, like OBS didn't do anything weird since the last time. Oh, that's a very good point, Soul. More than happy to let me walk through every bad ending that I earn. I love it. I love it. Yeah, I have a bad habit of not accepting the bad ends. And so now Soul's like, I'm not gonna tell you unless you get the answer right. And then we're gonna go, Donna chose wisely. But we're not gonna tell you Donna chose wisely right away. We're gonna make you sweat a little bit. And then we'll let you have that reassurance that you are correct. And I love it. I wouldn't have it any other way. Because I need the guidance, but I also need to learn to accept the consequences of my choices in this game. So what was a highlight of everybody's week? I've been going through the Bible recap this year, and that has been a huge highlight. And I also, another highlight, because I'm pretty sure that was earlier this week, if not late last week, Soul and I found out about an event in our state that we're gonna try and go to, and we've already bought our ticket for it and everything, and we are so excited about it. And I hope that it is the first of many, because the Capital C Church needs a lot more. Capital C Church needs a lot more events like this. And so I'm excited for it. Another highlight for me was Bible study last night, and it was just such a good conversation. We've been going through a series on Right Now Media called For the Life of the World. And what it is it's a series about the different things that God has given us to pour into the world and bring the world to Him. And so the first week was, I know last night was wisdom. The one before that was, I know week 2 was family. Week 1 was mostly going over his definitions. Week 2 was family. Week 3 was work. Week 4... Oh goodness, what was week 4? Was it order? No, that was last night, because there was also some talk about order. I have to look back at my notes. Why am I all of a sudden blanking on it? But it was just such good conversation about the difference between knowledge and wisdom. And we were talking about, okay, what is that difference? When does knowledge turn into wisdom? Or if they don't directly link to each other, when do we know which one is which? And we kind of came to the conclusion that it's all in how you use that knowledge. It's kind of like how the Serenity Prayer says, Lord, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, to know the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference, or something like that. Maybe it's the courage to accept the things I can't change, and the serenity, whichever one it is. I can't remember the verbiage, but there's wisdom in that, because the knowledge is knowing, hey, this is something I can't, there are things, the wisdom or the courage and the knowledge is knowing there are things I can and can't change. Wisdom is accepting and knowing the difference between the two, and it's applying that. Same thing. Knowledge is knowing things about how the world works, knowing things about God, knowing things for your job, things you're taught in school, etc. Wisdom is applying that in a way that helps further God's kingdom. And so at least that was kind of the general idea that we came to, was it's all in how you apply things. When you're on a path that's leading you to apply things that you know and have learned in a way that leads you down the path God has called you to, then yeah, that's going to be wisdom. You're going down the path of wisdom. However, when you let yourself be blinded by pride, echo chambers, etc., thinking that you know everything, then you're going down a path of folly. And so that's not wisdom, that is foolishness. Highlights were easily hearing back from your friend in Japan, surviving assignments from our friend in Japan. Yes, dude, the way that I smiled so big when you told me that she had Marco Polo'd you, I was like, yes! Ah! And I literally felt like a weight had been taken off my chest. And I need to Marco Polo her too today. I'm going to add that to my reminders list. Let me do that real quick. And we'll we'll set a time of, say, 11:30. There we go. Surviving your assignments for school. Dude, what were your assignments for this week? I had a couple chapters of reading and some labs that were so stinking easy. I was like, yes. And then we had, so the only thing I have left is a discussion, and that was because the teacher hasn't unlocked said discussion yet. And so I think the last couple of weeks, it's been kind of weird. She's kept it locked up until the assignment due date, essentially, and given us like a day. So essentially what it is she unlocks it at like midnight the day it's due and gives us until like 12:01 the next morning to do our initial post and discussion. So I don't know if she's going to open it up early or not, so I'm kind of keeping an eye on that. But we also had a short paper to write about the difference between infrastructure as a service, so like things like Microsoft Azure that let you easily set up and deploy applications to people in your workplace. Software as a service, which is like Microsoft 365 and the Google Suite, where it's a software that lets you do, what you need to do, like collaboration-wise or things like that, but it's usually subscription-based. And then platform as a service, so like the Amazon, AWS, Amazon something service, where it essentially gives you all the different things that you need to develop your app. You've got all the bits and pieces and it's like a puzzle. But then you can make your little app and it's a lot more flexible and it's a lot more fluid and all this other stuff. And so we had to write a 1 to 2 page paper on that, so I got that submitted yesterday. Ooh, it was a template making exercise. The CAD software lets you create technical drawings from the parts and assemblies that you create. That is so cool! Was it pretty easy? And I am so glad that your dad's chemo went so much better than the first attempt. Is he still doing okay? Is he still, making strides and not having too bad of side effects? So Sunday, I got to go to a really, really fun puzzle event in town. And some friends from church and I went, and it was so cool. So what they did is the puzzle itself, you build the puzzle, and then you have on the back of the puzzle pieces are numbers. And so you have about 10 booklets plus your instruction booklet plus the answer booklet. So 12 booklets in all. So 10 of clues, 1 with the instructions and 1 with the answer. You also have a little thing with a suction cup on the bottom to help you lift up individual puzzle pieces that you want to investigate. So after you build your puzzle, then you start investigating and looking for clues, and you also have a deck of cards with those numbers on it that are on the back of the puzzle pieces. As you're investigating, you use the little suction cup and you say, I want to investigate that drawing on the wall. So you use the suction cup piece, pick up the piece of the puzzle that has the drawing on the wall that you want to look at. Oh, that has number 57. So you go looking in the card deck, you find a number 57, and it'll tell you either keep this card face up and keep it with you, keep this card face up and it has a number on it, so keep an eye for anything that has so if it has like a number on it, that means that it's something that you can put together. So there's the number on the back of the card that corresponds to the puzzle piece, but some of those cards on the the front, they would have a number in the corner. If it had a number in the corner, then that meant it could be used to find another clue. And so you could put together, say, the painting and the next door neighbor, for example, just for randomness. And the next door neighbor can tell you a little bit about the history of the painting. Like maybe they got that painting as a wedding present. And so then if it could also tell you something like, oh, you really thought that would give you something? Put this back in the pile. Or it would tell you, okay, you put these two together and you got this, now put all these 3 cards back in the box. And so as you narrowed down clues, you were solving a mystery. And it was so much fun. So we got the puzzle put together fairly quickly. And then the investigation was actually the part that took the longest, because these cards, they would tell you how much time on your little clock to mark off. And so it would tell you, yeah, you spent about a minute knocking out or checking this out. And then you'd spend 3 minutes doing this. So you had to mark off, and you only had an hour's worth of clues that you could look at. So you had to use your time wisely. And so we made it with like 3 minutes left that we could have used for further investigation. But one of my friends, he hasn't been in a while, but Teal Dolphin was actually the one who solved it. And we essentially found out that it was the husband in the music room with the bust of Beethoven. And it was in a fit of jealous rage. But it was just so much fun. So I look forward to doing more of those things. He made custom templates that had the school logo built in, zones built in, guides on the sides for locating things, and would automatically pull in things from the parts, description, part number, etc., and lots of other miscellaneous details. That is so cool! I'm so glad that you were able to do that. It was really tedious as per usual when working with Creo. It was finicky with adding the logos, made copying and pasting things needlessly difficult. Oh gosh. I sincerely hope that you find a job in your new field that does not require Creo. Lord, may her future job require either AutoCAD or SolidWorks and not Creo. Amen. Because Creo just sounds needlessly difficult. But I've also been really enjoying my Bible reading and the Bible recap. It's been really, really cool the last few days. Good morning, Dusty and Galaxy. Thank you so much for the lurk. Congratulations to Soul on first and Dusty on second. But, so the Bible recap, lately we've been alternating. Well, hello, I'm glad that you're here. We've been reading through, we finished up 1 Samuel, and then went into 2 Samuel, and while we were finishing up 1 Samuel, they sprinkled in some psalms that were written about the same time, and then into 2 Samuel, and now we're in 1 Chronicles for a bit, because a lot of the stories in Samuel, Chronicles, and Kings all overlap and give you a more full picture of what was actually going on. So with this being a chronological plan, we've been alternating between a bunch of different books to kind of get a full picture of what exactly was going on. And the Psalms that we have been reading have been so good. Like, it's been a lot about just God's protection and provision, and that He is our avenger, He is our rock and our shelter, and He is, all of creation points to him. And how when we go through hard times, all we need to do is look up and he is right there. I'm doing well, Dusty. How are you? I hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Just been a busy week. Doing okay? Is everything going okay? Or is okay kind of your baseline these days? Because I know for some people saying they're okay means that they're going through
Hello,
something.
sweetie.
And sometimes okay is your baseline. Welcome in, Meep_173. Glad to see you. Thank you so much for the follow. And Harley Jen, thank you so much for the follow. It's your baseline these days? Okay, cool. You needed to make 10 of them, 5 of the base templates, and 5 with parts pulled in to show that the codes worked. Oh, okay. Gotcha. That's super cool, though. That is so cool you were able to even do that, because, like, I know how hard that program can be, and B, I have no experience with said program or any program in that realm, and so the fact that you're able to do that is, like, mind-blowing to me. The fact that anybody's able to do that is mind-blowing to me. In your case, okay as both? That's totally fair. That is totally fair. Because sometimes it depends on the day. Because sometimes okay might be your baseline, but at the same time, there's also days where okay is your way of saying, it's been rough, buddy. You know? And I am so excited for tonight, because tonight, in another server I'm in, we are doing a co-working night where we are working on our works in progress as far as stories. So we're gonna go in on the Discord server, and Soul, let me know if you want in on that Discord server, because I think you would be a great fit. And you know, we're gonna get in there, we're gonna just have some lo-fi playing, and everybody's gonna just be working on their stuff. And it's gonna be really, really cool, and I'm excited for it. And eventually, the goal is that we'll do co-working sometimes, but then also some share nights and workshop nights. And speaking of which, I need to post in there a couple of the pictures that I need as far as expectations. Okay, so I already gave it permission. Alright. These are the rules and expectations for both co-working nights and share nights. Thanks, awesome peeps. There we go. Been going through stuff the past 4.5 years, totally fair. More or less in a state of constant survival mode, but God is good and you're not always comfortable getting into the difficult stuff, nor is it always a good time or place, so you're always just okay. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I just think it's important to know the difference between when you're okay is, right now I'm going through something and I'll tell you about it when, you know, maybe it's just the two of us. And when okay is, yeah, I'm at my baseline and, you know, everything's good. You're okay with an asterisk. There we go. I love it. I love it. I also, you guys, I learned about this really, really cool Twitch extension that I am so excited that I'm waiting for the developer to message me how to like get it to work on my streams. But what'll be really cool is it is called Seed Bible. And what it is it is a way that I can project, like if we wanted to do Bible readings, I can post, or I can share my screen with the Bible reading on there, and there will be a QR code, and you can join me in reading. So like you can be watching the stream on your computer, pull up the QR code on your phone, and as I'm scrolling, highlighting, etc., it's gonna do the same thing on your screen. So you can follow along with me on your own personal device. If I go to another chapter, it'll change the chapter on your screen as well. And they also have, like, if you wanted to look and see where, say, Sodom and Gomorrah were, they have built-in maps, and you can look and see and zoom in and out to see where Sodom and Gomorrah were. And I am so excited to see how that can be tied into my streams. I think that is going to be so cool for the times when we want to do Bible readings. And I know that Pastor Dustin is really excited about it as well. Right? Oh no, my camera's all fuzzy. Hold on. Back slowly. Well, let's try this. Gonna disappear for a second. Nope. Oh, there we go. Now we got Crispy Donna. Crispy Donna! All right. So that is something that down the road I am so excited to be able to share with you guys, and we can explore it together. And so it'll be really cool once I get, and I have so much really cool stuff planned for down the road. Like eventually, currently those highlights are temporary. They are only for that session. However, down the road, they want to make where those highlights will stay. They're just currently working on the code and everything to be able to get that to work. And you can make it where, if you're following along, you can turn off your phone's automatic, make it where your phone screen won't turn off after so often. Crispy Donna makes you think of something else that sounds like a Donna that's been cooked, right? So I picked that up from my buddy Wolfler. And whenever his camera would go wonky like that, like it just did for me, he would go, "All right, we need Crispy Wolfler sandwich." And so, yeah. I am gonna play that and stream that new James Bond game coming out in May. In fact, I bought it yesterday. I pre-ordered it, and I am so excited. I want to say it comes out in early May? Or maybe it's late May. May 27th, late May. But I am so excited. I love the idea of going back in time to Bond's first days as an MI6 agent. That just sounds so cool. So cool. I absolutely love it. So let's go ahead and we're going to transition into a time of prayer. If you have any prayer requests, please feel free to drop them below in chat or use the One Channel Point Redemption Please Pray For Me, which will put it not only here in chat, but also up here in my activity feed. So that way I am guaranteed not to miss it, and it's not going to get buried in the chat. I will look up partway through the day, or I'll look up periodically throughout the prayer, and we'll make sure that I don't miss anything. Just don't be too confused if you use it in a different context. You're dying in an action game repeatedly, and I just yell out, "Crispy Donna!" Oh my gosh, I love it. One summer you posted, "What's your favorite part of summer?" on their... Oh wait, one summer I posted, "What's your favorite part of summer?" on their Facebook. You commented, "When it's over." My favorite part of summer... Oh, your church. Gotcha. My favorite part of summer is when I'm in my air-conditioned home, going to my air-conditioned car, going to my air-conditioned destination, into said air-conditioned destination, back to my air-conditioned car, back to my air-conditioned home, and into my air-conditioned home. Dude, it's been so hot. It's already broken 100 here this year, and it's only April. Let's see what it looks like today. At least today, it only looks like it's gonna be a high of 87. So that should be good. That's true, there are some really, really fun summer events. Good morning, Melanie! How are you, my friend? So good to see you! So let's go ahead and pray. I'll look up partway through for prayer requests, and then we're gonna dive into the game. So good to see you! How have you been, Melanie? Dear Lord, thank you so much for who you are and how much you love us, that all we have to do is look up and you are right there, ready and waiting to help us. I pray that for each and every person here, you just reveal yourself to them more and more completely. I ask that you be with Soul as she is finishing up her semester. Help both her and me to be able to understand everything that's being taught in class, to be able to finish those assignments, to have computer programs work the way we need them to, that we are not frustrated with them, Lord. I pray for her dad that he continues to respond well to treatments and that these treatments are effective. I pray that there are little to no side effects, Lord, that he's able to maintain his strength, Lord, and that some way, somehow you use this to just draw him closer and closer to you, Lord. I pray for anybody who's just going through a hard time, Lord. I think of STL, I think of Catherine Naomi, Rico Estrico, that you just guide and direct them, Lord. Reveal yourself fully and completely to them and just guide them on the path that you need them to be on, Lord. Make us more receptive to your voice. Keep us in tune with your voice. I pray that tomorrow my mechanic friend is able to figure out what is going on with my car because the check engine light came on and it's not showing him any codes, Lord. So give him wisdom to be able to figure out what's going on and let it be a quick, easy, cheap fix, Lord. I pray over my one as I share the link to my church's service with her, that she is receptive to what you have to say through my pastor, Lord. That we can have good, fruitful discussion, Lord. I pray for STL as he's just been dealing with so much, Lord, that you just keep constantly reminding him of who he is in you, Lord. That you soften his mother-in-law's heart, Lord. I ask that you help him to recover from his headaches. Thank you, Lord, that he has pretty much recovered from his heart surgery, Lord. I pray for Kishu, that you just keep her healthy, Lord. Thank you that she has gotten over her cold or whatever it is, Lord. I pray for Shopkeep, that you just give him favor with some of the places he's applied to, and just make it clear where you want him to work, Lord. I ask that you be with Kage and Aelin as they adjust to this new role in their life, Lord. I ask that you be with Just a Little Spark and her family, Lord. Be with Pastor Dustin and his wife, Lord, but especially his wife, as she's been dealing with all this poison ivy and it's just not going away, Lord. I ask that you just remove that poison ivy, Lord. Help her not to be itchy. I pray for Catherine, Naomi, and for Rico, that you just continue to guide and direct them in your will, Lord. I ask that you just use the chemo that Soul's dad is going through to rid him of cancer, if it be your will, Lord. I pray for anybody who is struggling physically, whether illness or injury, that you just be with them, Lord, and heal them. Be with Lotu and her family, Lord. Give them a miracle. I ask that you be with anyone who's struggling mentally as well, Lord, that they are reminded of who they are in you. Any unspokens, that they be answered according to your will, Lord. Anybody who needs to come to know you, Lord, that you soften hearts and open minds to their need for you. Give us a great time of fellowship today, and in your name I pray. Amen. All right. Sounds good, Dusty. You have a wonderful day, my friend. Let us... Anytime. Gonna go ahead and change the category. Pause the music. And make sure this looks good. Ah, I had turned off Elgato. Perfect. There we go. So Melanie, what have you been up to lately? Right, I miss her too. I tried reaching out to her on Twitter, but I guess maybe she's not on Twitter as often anymore. I know she deleted her Discord server for some reason. So I think right now it's all we can really do is just pray. Alrighty, Soul. We need your tech support. Do we just go with start? Do we load up somewhere? What exactly do we do from here? Working a ton and taking care of your best girl? Aw, how is Little Red doing? I've been good. I am just busy. We had I had choir at church, which was really good. We did our Easter service, and it was fantastic. And so now the choir's kind of on a bit of a break while we kind of figure out, okay, what do we want to do next? And then I've also been on a rotating basis with the worship team. I joined the worship team also at Lux Digital Church here on Twitch. And then work's been keeping me busy. I've joined some Bible studies. And let's see, what else? Been bicycling some. Not as much now that the weather's gotten so hot. But we're also getting ready to go on a mission trip in July to France. So that is going to be so much fun and something I'm really excited about. Our Awana year wraps up this coming Wednesday. We had our last night just a few days ago, just this past Wednesday. Right? So many exciting things. And just putting out content on all the different socials, reading the Bible recap, and going through all the different things, just trying to further my relationship with God and keep up, the friendships that I've built. Oh, thank you. And then we can probably set up skip mode. Right? We can just go skip. Cool. But yeah, it has been such a good, busy few months. Very involved in the kids department at my church. And it's just been super good and super life-giving. What about you? What have been some highlights in your life lately, Melanie? Right now, we are just doing all the skips until we get to where we need to make a decision. And then Soul's gonna help me get onto the route that we need to get on. I believe it was don't report it. Because otherwise, we die. Because I was like, I remember my very first bad ending was the one that happens when you report it. Because the bad guys are listening through the collar. So they tell you, don't tell anybody or you die. So what do? We tell our friend and coworker. And then we die. And that was my very first bad ending. All right. Shiraishi? Oh, yeah, I thought so. But part of me is like, but he's gonna know that we're lying, because he is, like, very intuitive with that. And let's see, it would be... Let's see, where is that note? Yes, okay. Ah, we only have a couple more routes before we get to Best Boy. So we have this one, and then Shiraishi, and then we get to do Best Boy. That's true. Common Round is incredibly short. There's only one right or wrong answer per guy with a tiebreaker at the end if needed. Ah. Oh yeah, he is like so intuitive. He'd be like, yeah, I know you're lying, but I'm just gonna play along. So after stream today, Mom and I are going to be running some errands, so that'll be good. And then I've got to get laundry done. And then it'll be writing night, and I'm so excited! What does everybody else have planned for today? Oh, and Soul introduced me to an amazing set of devotionals online from a group called the Worship Initiative. And what they do is they make devotionals based on worship songs. And so they talk about a few verses and the common theme or thread around them, and then they sing a worship song that matches that same theme. And it is so cool. I love it. Chores that you have the hardest time keeping up with? Totally fair. And a head start on homework. There you go. Which one for Okazaki? Because I know one of them we used to take us over to Enomoto, and one of them we used to take us over to, I think one of them took us over to Sazazuka. Sounds good. Hey, there's our guy for this route. There's bro. There's all bro. Which, once you know more about him, definitely feels wrong for him when you think about it, right? Because it's like, it's one of those things where you're like, we know that deep down he cares. He just has a different way of showing that he cares. He just has that kind of, he's built up walls and we have to work to tear down those walls. Exactly, like I think yesterday's was a perfect example of them singing the scripture itself. I want to find, like I wanted to find, yeah, you meant in the sense that he's a good guy and doesn't want her to die. Yeah, that too. That too. And it's one of like, I want to find, because I found some that are similar to how they sang it yesterday. But I really think that that my church would absolutely love love, love, love to sing the one that was based on, I think it was Psalm 51. This is true. Prickly though he may be, he would still be very much bothered and upset by her untimely demise. I just feel like he would show it differently. I think he would internalize it more. He's very much an internalizer. And he doesn't like to let people in on his emotions. So especially at this early of a stage in their, like if it was further along in their relationship as he'd gotten to know her, then yeah, he would absolutely be the one that would be like screaming out the word no and you know, outwardly showing that he's bothered by it. But I feel like at this early of a stage, he would probably be more like probably be more internalizing and internally processing all of that versus showing it outwardly. And the rest of the group would totally understand that and respect that. They'd recognize it and help him process through it and recognize this is just his way of dealing with it. And then we just gotta go through... Should I just, go ahead and... Oh, okay. Should I just go ahead and say that I'm done? That's enough for now, so that way we don't have to go through all the different cases? Or is this our choosing which one? No, this isn't our choosing which one. Since you're gonna be RB, let's go ahead and work our way through these. That way that gives you time to do what you need to do and return. So we have police. This one I believe was the school. Hey, welcome back. Yeah, that one was the school. So April, May was the police. June was the school. July was the first stalker. August was online gamer killings. November was the traffic accident. And we'll say that's enough for now. Where to? Basement 1. First floor. Third floor. 4, 5, 6, 7. Forensics. Okay. But my real duty, the duty of the police, was to protect the safety of Shinjuku Ward. Oh, your dad arrived with Duncan and Evie went off on a very short-lived adventure. Oh, how funny! Hopefully she was easy to catch. And what is your drink of choice from Duncan today? I'm glad your dad felt up to going. As a police officer, I wanted to protect whomever I could. If I was paralyzed by my position or methods, then I'd never make any progress solving the cases. Even if that means I can't stay on the force. I made up my mind and looked straight at Sakuragawa. She insisted on sniffing a tree that she's probably allergic to. Oh no! Well, I'm glad she is inside and safe now. Hopefully that continues. I came to you with all that in mind. It might be against regulations, but I will do my duty as a police officer. I swear that I'm determined to do that. When I made my intentions clear, Sakuragawa's eyes went wide and she dropped her gaze.
そこまで言われて断ったら、私の方が悪者みたいじゃん。
She looked up at me, sighing.
わかった。できる限りは協力するよ。まあ、笹塚と約束もしてるしね。
Ooh, a matcha latte with vanilla. Oh, that sounds so good. Dude, next time we get together, we are so trying that. We are so trying that. And avocado toast too. Remind me, what do they put on top of their avocado toast? I've had two different kinds of avocado toast toppings. I've had one where it's bread, avocado, egg, which was my favorite. And then I've also had bread, avocado, and some kind of fish. I think it was salmon. And that one was okay, but I'm also not that big of a fish fan. Everything bagel seasoning and bacon as an add-on. Oh, that sounds so good. That sounds so stinking good. We've got ads in a minute. So, I will make sure to not make any further progress in the game until you guys are back. Once the ad break starts. Really?
でも、私に不利になることまでは協力してやれないからね。
Of course. That's only natural.
アドバイス程度のことしかできない時でも、絶対文句は言わないこと。わかった？
Yes. She relented, perhaps because of how vigorously I was nodding.
ま、何かあったらおいで。空いてる時間なら対応してあげる。
Sakuragawa finished with a weak smile. I bowed deeply to her. Thank you so much.
やめて、大げさすぎ。
Her face scrunched up in displeasure and she folded her arms, sulking. I'm glad she seems like a good person. I was new, so I didn't know many people here. Oh, and to BRB for you guys. See you in a minute. Oh, I'm on crochet. Sorry, guys. I thought I had totally gone to BRB. You guys were just staring at me doing... Getting a couple things done while I was on the commercial break. Sorry, guys. The crochet screen and the BRB screen on my list are right next to each other. And I clicked the wrong one. Sorry, guys. You like it just fine without the bacon, but both are good. Nice! What else did I put on it other than the everything bagel seasoning? Matcha latte with vanilla is a new favorite for you. Your cousin and you stopped there after picking your dad up from his surgery. The person ahead of you had ordered it and you thought, why have I not thought of this before? Made a mental note to get it the next time you did, or next time you did. You were confused at first and then thought, well, okay then. So, I'm gonna share something with you guys. Let's see if I can get this to work. Okay, so you're gonna get Donnaception here for a second. So these are all my screens. You got my starting soon, my just chatting, the game screen, crochet, BRB ending soon. So in my list, crochet and BRB are one right on top of the other. And I accidentally clicked crochet instead of BRB. Oops. It happens, it happens. That's it. Super simple, just the avocado topped with the seasoning, but the blend is so good that you're perfectly happy with it. In that case, I am so trying it the next time we go to Dunkin'. I was new, so I didn't know many people here. It was gratifying to know her when I had no idea who I could rely on in this situation. The next steps depend on me. I have to do my best not to trouble her too much. Then, my phone vibrated in my pocket. Yes, this is Hoshino.
星野、事件だ。被害者が出た。住宅街での犯行らしくてな。現場が混乱してる。特防にも応援要請が入った。すぐに向かうぞ。
Yes, sir. I hung up the phone and saw Sakuragawa running for the rooftop exit. I was sure she had orders to move out too. I have to hurry. I put my phone away and started running.
X デーをお知らせします。私たちは忘れてはならない罪を生み出したことはこれがゼロになった時死刑が執行される。救済方法はこのカウントダウンがゼロになる前にここに警察がたどり着くこと。早く助けて。死にたくない死にたくない死にたくない。
And he did. On the way to the scene in a squad car, I watched a video while listening to Mochida explain the situation. The video had been sent to the public email address of the Shinjuku Police Department a few hours ago. Unlike past statements, this had only been sent to the police for some reason. Apparently, Investigations HQ had enforced a gag order and were analyzing the video.
警察の動きを犯人側に知らせないための慣行令ということだが。
I mean, fair enough. Fair enough.
あ、今や捜査員の数も増えて、どこから漏れるかわからないのは事実だがな。
Mochida seemed somewhat annoyed by Investigations HQ's behavior, as if they suspected that there was someone in the station working with Adonis. But that could be the truth. I softly touched my collar through my clothes. Any information I'd heard previously could be transmitted to the criminals. I have to tread very carefully. The gravity of the position I was in chilled me to my core. Yeah, I wish there was a way that we could save that guy, because my heart goes out to him, you know? We were almost at the scene. A text? I subtly moved my phone so that Mochida couldn't see the screen. It's from Sasazuka. Stop by on your way home. It was a short message, but the implication came through loud and clear. Sasazuka and the others had probably already caught wind of this crime. Even though the gag order's in place, they don't seem to have slowed down at all. Feeling strangely impressed, I closed my phone. Investigators and detectives were all over. Curious bystanders were also gathering at the scene. Pandemonium was an apt way to describe it. We showed our police notebooks and entered the apartment where the homicide had occurred.
これまでの事件と比べると異例の速さで現場を特定はできたようなんだが
But we were still too late. Spawn of Kratos! How you doing? We heard that the victim had already been killed and the suspect had fled the scene before the police arrived.
持ち場を確認してくるから待ってろ
Yes, sir.
ちょっとそこどいて邪魔だよ。
Sakuragawa entered the room wearing a forensics uniform. Her tense expression relayed the severity of the crime to me.
森岡さん、死亡時刻絞れました。
Just woke up a little bit ago and you're playing some Fall Guys? Are you winning? Are you winning?
How did it?
捜査員が現場に駆けつける10分から20分ほど前とみられます。
遅かったか
Man, just 20 minutes. Not exactly. Oh no.
これまで完全に数歩先を行かれていたこと
You can do it. I believe in you.
言えるでしょう。
間に合わなきゃ意味がない。被害者を出して失態状。手放しで喜べる状況じゃないぞ。
I mean, I see both sides. I see both of their perspectives. I see Minagishi's point of, hey, we're getting better at being able to figure out where they're at. So now the next time we'll be even closer. Whereas Morioka's like, but we still lost somebody. They're still ahead of us. So I see both sides. In answer to that, Spawn, it depends on how scary. But feel free to have her send it to me. I'd be happy to look at it.
心得ています。だからこそ、些細な情報も見逃せません。そのためにわざわざ現場に来たんでしょう。
無駄死にはさせない。
ええ。
Ooh, that's exciting! I can't wait to see them!
桜川、被害者の身元は判明したのか？
田中悟、34歳。この部屋の住
Dude, 34 years old.
現在は無職。元はゲーム開発会社勤務。プログラマーだったようですね。
I wonder. So let me know if I'm on the right track here. I wonder if this guy was like one of the programmers on the game that had all the bullying. And so now Adonis is punishing all the people that were involved in the development of that game, from the developers to the programmers to everybody in between. Minagishi reins Morioka in a bit, in your opinion. Reminds him to slow down and think things through. That's true. That is true. I see that. Posted! Let's take a look. I'm gonna take a look. Oh, wow! That is so good! That is so good! That is like perfect for Halloween. Absolutely perfect. I love that! She is definitely very, very talented. Ooh, send it to a friend in West Virginia? Love it! That's gonna be... Your friend is gonna absolutely love it. I listened to their exchange, making sure to stay out of the way. If they'd located the scene just a bit sooner, this could have been prevented. I was sure that the investigators felt that frustration more than anyone else here. I knew how it felt to be... toothless? Is that a Tim? Is that you, Tim? The terrible typist? I'm guessing I knew how it felt to be too late? Or is this just an expression that I'm not fully grasping? Cause I don't know. I don't know. Ooh, he loves scary stuff? Then that is gonna be right up his alley. Is she gonna color it in, or is she gonna leave it as what you posted? Because either way is brilliant. Fall Guys gave you free rainbow coins yesterday out of nowhere? Dude, let's go Fall Guys! Don't think it's a typo, just a poor choice of words. It's an expression. Oh, okay, so it's just one I'm not familiar with. Okay. She's gonna keep it black and white, doesn't really do color? Totally fair. Totally fair. It would look awesome either way. People's lives depend on my actions. Investigations aren't that simple. Personal actions or not, I would bear that burden. If I wasn't in a collected state of mind, then someone clapped me on the shoulder.
俺たちは周辺封鎖の手伝いと近隣住民への説明だ。犯行時刻からすると、まだ犯人が近くに潜んでいる可能性も高い。
Yeah, toothless, not able to fight back, powerless. Yeah, that's fair. That makes sense. That makes sense. Because part of me is like, and I think some of it is it's just not one that I use, and I've never really heard it used. But at the same time, it's one that makes sense once you kind of dig in to that, because, you know, it could also be toothless in the sense that you had nothing to really sink your teeth into and clamp down on in order to reach a conclusion. It could be either one. Yes, sir. Yeah, it fits, but you think they could have found something that sounds a bit more fluid. Totally agree. Totally agree. You may or may not have bought the Stitch costume, a fairy corn outfit, and the frame pass on Fall Guys, or the fame pass on Fall Guys. I love it. What's one of your favorite maps these days on Fall Guys? After we set up the cordon and talked to the neighbors, we were told to gather information. Time flew by in a flurry of activity. I realized that it had gotten dark. Ooh, track attack. I don't know if I've gotten to do that one. Chapter 1. Soon it would be midnight. I walked through the streets of Shinjuku alone. After we finished interviewing witnesses, I returned to the station and filed in a report. My whole body was racked with fatigue. I just want to go home and rest. Still, I also wanted to know what Sasazuka and the others at the office managed to learn about the incident. I whipped myself into shape and began hurrying to the office. Huh? When I arrived in front of the office, I stopped in my tracks. Someone's collapsed! I'd seen the figure of someone collapsed in an alleyway. Are you okay? As I rushed over in surprise, I was even more shocked when I saw his face. Okazaki? His eyes were covered by an eye mask, but from the rest of his appearance, it was definitely Okazaki. An eye mask? I leaned in to get a better look at Okazaki. His rising and falling breaths were unmistakably the breaths of a sleeper. No way! He fell asleep here, of all places? I reached out to shake him awake, but my hand stopped just short of touching his shoulders. Actually, it would be better if he didn't see me. I'd be in trouble if the police found out about me. It'd be best to steer clear of him. But I can't just leave him here. That's your initial concern, Ichika? Yes, it is an eye mask. I think some of it is like her kind of piecing together everything, because at first all she sees is guy collapsed. And now she's like, oh, okay. Now the initial shock is wearing off. I'm able to be a little more observant of the details. Okay, he has an eye mask on. It's Okazaki. Dude, he fell asleep here. And now she's like, well, I can't let Adonis know that... Now I can't let Adonis know that the police kind of know that I'm working with these guys. So... we're just gonna steer clear of them. You're doing a bit of grinding. There's only 6 to 19 hours on the Fame Pass currently. Gotcha! What all is involved in the Fame Pass? It is an eye mask. That's what you're worried about, Ichika. Okazaki? I tried calling him in a quiet voice, but he showed no signs of waking. Okazaki! I raised my voice louder than before, but he still didn't wake up. Fairy-themed, kinda? So what all do you have to do in your grind? What now?
そんなとこで何してるんすか?
I spun around to face the unexpected voice from behind me. There was a man standing there. I didn't notice him at all. Because of my job, I tended to be pretty good at noticing people nearby. But he was able to approach from behind, and I'd completely failed to notice this man until he spoke.
ああ、またこんなとこで寝てるんすか、先輩?
Oh, you earn levels to get the costumes. Gotcha. How many more levels do you have? Like, why does he even have an eye mask in the first place? Okazaki is so not normal, because I mean, it makes sense that he would have an eye mask, depending on if he's a little more light sensitive and would wake up easily at the first sign of any light. But it's definitely not normal to fall asleep on the street in an alley. Unless you've had a little bit too much to drink. Sir? I reflexively spoke and was met with a smile.
この人ね、一旦寝始めるとなかなか起きないんすよ。
Right? And this is apparently normal behavior for him, considering it's happened before. Probably still a lot to go. You think you're on level 20-something? Gotcha! Well, I hope that you're able to finish it and get all the prizes! Because you deserve it. You deserve it.
でも、こうすれば起きますよ。
Saying that, the man rolled up his sleeves. He also drew a handgun from his holster. Oh, I think I know where this is going. What?
うわっ
Okazaki was up in a flash and he unleashed a lightning-quick spinning roundhouse kick. Rest in peace, Chuck Norris! The gun was knocked out of the other man's hand.
先輩いっふや
The man lost his balance, stumbled even further, and went down with a crash. My eyes couldn't keep up with how fast that takedown had been. What? What's happening?
あれ、吉成くんだったんだ。ごめん。
You were playing Animal Crossing last night and you're addicted to it again and so excited to start your beautiful fall-themed island. I love it. I can't wait to see what you do with it.
ひどいっすよ先輩
Nope, definitely not where I thought it was going. He woke up faster than I thought he would. I had a feeling it would end up with like some kind of a little bit of a fight scene like it went down there. I just thought it would take a little bit more to wake him up. My thought was it was either going to be he like fires a shot in the air or something, or Okazaki's able to hear him as he like sets up to fire his weapon. And then maybe Ichika is also like at about the same time going, no! And then next thing you know, what we just saw happens. You know, like I thought there would be just a smidge more to it.
っていうか途中で俺だって気づいてたでしょ
うん。
And he says that with such a smile.
せめて否定してください
吉成くんなら避けられるかなって。殺気はないって分かってたし、つい。
I was still flabbergasted as I saw Okazaki casually brush the dirt from his uniform with a pleasant smile. I knew that SP officers were physically impressive, but the gap between my expectations and reality was pretty shocking. Yay, you got monies! Yay, all the monies! Yeah, Okazaki is very good at what he does. I just thought he was in a bit deeper of a sleep than he was. I thought it would take the pulling back on the, oh, what's it called? I totally forget what it's called, but you know what I'm talking about, right? And I thought it would be that. Maybe that would wake him up. If not, a warning shot, you know? That's true. He wouldn't sleep like that if he couldn't respond like that. That's totally fair. That's totally fair.
あ、猫さん。
30,000 that you planted? I love it! What are you gonna spend it on? Okazaki smiled wanly as if he'd only noticed me there for the first time. He probably noticed me before. Despite how I found him, he had sharp senses. The fact that he reacted so casually was likely due to his personality.
え、猫？ああ、この人が例の星野一花さんか。
Oh, that makes sense. That makes sense. Huh? Did I introduce myself? No, I don't recall ever doing that.
自分は吉成秀明と申します。岡崎先輩とコンビ組んでて。
吉成くん。
Yeah, you'll get there. I believe in you.
先輩足なんで踏むんですか？
While I was confused by the greeting, Okazaki was angrily stepping on Yoshinari's foot.
あ、ああ。俺。
Pierogi, thank you for the lurk. How's your day going? Yeah, he's stepping on his foot. And if Dave were here, he would totally have a gift for, or a emote for that. To tell him, hey, quiet down. You're busy finally on lunch at work? Yes! What's for lunch today? I noticed that Yoshinari had an SP badge on his chest too. Which means...
いやー、それにしても今日はいい天気っすね、先輩。
もう夜だよ、吉成くん。
Ooh, Fish Friday. So fish, shamrock with tater tots and coleslaw. Nice! I'm not much of a seafood fan, but I am so glad that you like it. Is that one of your favorite meals? He was clearly trying to change the subject. Desperately so. Still looking annoyed, Okazaki let out a sigh and nodded.
それは俺も思う。いくら銃を持ってても夜は危ないよ。吉成くんの言う通り、君は可愛いから。
はい、可愛いとまでは言ってません。
ね、吉成くん。
あ、はい、そうっすね。超可愛いっす。
Besides sushi, salmon is easily your favorite when it comes to seafood? Nice! Oh no! Autocorrect! I don't want to hear that it's dangerous to walk alone from a guy who falls asleep in alleyways. More importantly, I absolutely had to be cautious of Okazaki. Fish sandwich is not something you have often, but it is good to have every so often. There you go. What kind of fish is in your sandwich? Yoshinari's earlier panic had been trying to cover up the fact that they both had figured out my name. Which means Okazaki already knows...
吉成くん、タケルくんたちの様子を見てきてくれる？
I remember one time when I was on vacation in Alaska. And we were going through Homer. And as we were walking around, we came across this kid, probably about 12 or 13. And he had a haddock that was as big as him. And he was like covered in fish stuff. Because he was already like trying to, you know, get it all cleaned up, ready to take home and eat. And he was just absolutely covered, but the look of pride on his face as he was like, yeah, This is my fish. I caught it and now I'm prepping it. And it's gonna be delicious. The only seafood you like is tuna on sandwiches, but it does sound good. Yeah, I'm not usually much of a seafood fan. I tried it. And at first, it was great. Well, not great, but good. And then one day I tried it, and it was just like, all of a sudden my taste buds changed. And it made me a bit nauseous. And I was like, well, guess I'm not eating seafood anymore.
了解っす。あとはお若い人たちでごゆっくり。
After watching Yoshinari disappear, Okazaki smiled weakly.
彼の方が若いんだけどね。
Okazaki went quiet and we shared an awkward silence together. He was watching me. It looked like he wasn't sure how to break the ice. So you knew. Obviously he knew my name, but he'd probably also figured out my identity too. Okazaki nodded slightly with a troubled smile.
ごめんね。調べさせてもらった。立場上無視するわけにはいかなくて。
That much was obvious. To him, I was a strange woman who had approached the people he was protecting. Knowing that, I had no right to complain about either his caution or the background check. SP could request coordination with the police, so if he looked me up, he'd know in no time. No, I should be the one apologizing for misleading you about my identity. Let me reintroduce myself. I'm Ichika Hoshino from Shinjuku Police.
彼らに近づくのは仕事の一環?
I wasn't sure how to answer that direct question. Ooh. That's how you feel about how tuna smells? It made you feel nauseous as a kid and tuna sandwiches are a no for you? Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see. We could go with I can't say, because at least with I can't say, it gives her a kind of, it could be like, because what it could be is she says I can't say, she's thinking I can't say because collar. But, or it could be, you know, and he starts thinking, oh, well, they told you to keep that a secret. Or he goes, you can't say because you're working some big investigation. That makes sense. I'm SP. I totally understand that. I think I'm gonna go with I can't say. But baked salmon with lemon herb butter from Trader Joe's? That could be good. I don't know. There's something about the smell and taste of fish that I'm just like, ugh. You've been watching videos of a YouTuber start her new island as well. While you play, you watch her start her seaside core island. I love it! Right now, I had no idea if I should say yes or no. Even if I found a clever way to lie to him, it probably wouldn't work. And above all, I was very reluctant to lie to a fellow police officer. I can't say. After thinking it over, that's what I decided. Okazaki's demeanor didn't change and he smiled wanly at me again. I chose wisely! Because it says trust up! It says the trust is up! Ah! Yeah, that's what makes this route interesting. The rest know about the collar. Okazaki doesn't. That is a very good point. You love watching people play games while you're playing the same game? I think it's a kind of almost like that co-working vibe. Donna chose wisely. Yes, I did.
そっか。じゃあ質問を変えるね。ね、君は警察官として動いてる？
Removing the collar was my top priority. In any case, my life was at stake. Still, I had a very strong suspicion that the collar would be a key to solving the X-Day incidents. And if I was the clue that would lead us closer to the culprits, then I certainly wanted to use that to its fullest extent. That was my conviction as a police officer. Yes. When I nodded, Okazaki seemed to smile in relief.
だったら大丈夫だね。
In other words, he wouldn't be able to overlook it if I was acting on my own rather than as part of my duty as an officer. That's fine. Okazaki, is your mission to protect Yanagi and his team? Is there some reason they're so valuable? After taking some time to reflect on the question, Okazaki's face turned slightly serious.
X デー事件が警察の体制に反感を持つ組織によるテロだとしたら、元警察の彼らにも危険が及ぶ可能性がある。特に彼らは在職時に能力を買われていた人材で、今は独自に X デー事件を捜査している立場でしょ。事件に巻き込まれる可能性が高いし、元は同じ組織だった彼らを放っておけないしね。
It was a plausible explanation, but he spoke like he was detached from it all. The SP's primary mission is to protect valuable people or regular civilians in great danger. Shinjuku had turned into a dangerous area, so there should be plenty of people in the city more important than Yanagi and his team. Moreover, it seemed bizarre to me that the SP would task its valuable resources to address the potential threat to former officers. He's hiding something after all.
俺が守るべきものはね、特別で
Ooh, yay!
大切
I'll take a look at that as soon as I
とても重
can.
くてかけがえのないもの。
I could still clearly recall Okazaki's profound tone when he'd said that. Does he mean Yanagi's team? No, that's probably not it. The way he looked when he said that, he had to be referring to something else. Is he watching Yanagi's group in order to protect that other thing? Does he suspect them of being on the other side? Yeah, go for it! My expression must have given away the skepticism I felt. Okazaki shook his head with a bitter smile and spoke while looking up at the office building.
彼らを守る必要はあるよ。少なくとも今の俺にはね。犯人と接触する可能性があるくらい実力も捜査にかける熱意も本物だと思う。だからこそ俺は。
He abruptly paused. His gaze was distant, and then it dropped. Okazaki?
だから俺は彼らともっと仲良くなりたいって思うんだよね。いい人。
Right.
守るべき人間としてふさわしいか。それを知りたいっていうのもあるかな。
Don't you have it backwards? He'd been charged with protecting people and he didn't even know if they were worth protecting.
それから
Yeah, that's a good point too, Soul. In sharing the enjoyment of the game together and kind of feeling like you guys are working together on the same team. That kind of thing. Eh?
君とももっと仲良くなりたいな。
When he said that, I grew wary again. I felt like I was being misled in several ways. While it might have been a compliment, I had no idea of Okazaki's true intentions, so it felt disconcerting. I felt I should keep my distance.
ね、もしかして事務所に用事があったんじゃない？
I finally remembered what I'd originally come here to do.
やっぱり。だったら俺も一緒に行くよ。
Huh? That's, This is very bad. I couldn't speak openly with Yanagi's team if the topic of the collar was off limits. I could only imagine how upset they would be having Okazaki there. I'll be fine. I can get there on my own. I firmly denied him, but Okazaki just took my hand and dragged me along.
遠慮しなくてもいいよ。
I'm not being shy. Okazaki wouldn't let go no matter what I said. I eventually entered the office, half dragged.
だから、そもそも勝手に入ってくんなって何回言えばわかるんだよ。
That is true, and I think that's the kind of the point that she's trying to make, is that she can't necessarily feel like she, it's more like it's a mixture of the two. She knows that they have beef with him, but also she knows she can't speak openly with them as long as he's there. So I think it's more a mixture of the two. Is that voice Enomoto?
照れなくてもいいんですよ、ミネオさん。この吉成秀明、たとえ槍が降ろうと四六時中あなた方を守ります。キリ。
That is true. She thought of them first, which is very much in character. That's right. Okazaki sent Yoshinari ahead first. I timidly stepped into the noisy room.
キリじゃねえよ。だいたい照れてねえし、迷惑だって言ってんだ。
Yeah, I agree with you there. They could have translated her concern for her own life a bit better.
ははん。ミネオさんはまだ俺の進化を分かっていませんね。なんだそりゃ。俺はこう見えてすっごく役に立つ人間なんです。例えば。
Yeah, that's fair. That's totally fair, Soul.
その本棚に隠してあるいかがわしい本。好きな子にバレそうになった時には俺がささっとさりげなく懐に入れたり。
うわお前
Oh my gosh!
どこまで知ってんだよ
Indecent books? Enomoto! Enomoto!
あ、聞きたいっすか？じゃあ奥のベッドの下にある DVD のタイトルはやめてお願いだからそれ以上言わないで
It was pretty obvious that Okazaki wasn't the only person that was viewed as a nuisance around the office. But they look like they're having fun. Maybe he actually gets along well with Enomoto. Yeah, I think they're getting along great. Good reading of the situation there, Ichika. I don't think Enomoto's having fun. I had taken the opportunity to enter, so Enomoto noticed me gawking at the scene in the doorway.
お前、岡崎までなんで連れてきてんだよ。
Right? Yeah, they are. They're getting along great. They're having fun. Especially Enomoto being tortured with having his secrets revealed.
厄介なのが揃ったな。
Yanagi emerged from behind the partition with an exasperated look on his face.
何考えてんだバカ猫。さっさと追い出せ。
Okazaki looked up from his computer to no, there's our buddy. There's our buddy. Hi, Tim, the terrible typist. Congratulations, my dude. You mixed up characters. That, my friend, is Sasazuka. Sasazuka is the one that works at the computers. Okazaki, Tim the terrible typist. Come here. You're listening, right? You're listening, right, Tim? Okazaki is the one that earlier took Ichika by the hand and dragged her to the office. You switched up the two, my friend. Sasazuka looked up from his computer to snipe at me. Ah, those are some painful stares. Okay, good. He used the right stairs. Good job, buddy. Good job. You used the right stairs. But Okazaki ignored the criticism and turned to Sasazuka with a raised index finger.
こら、タケルくん。バカ猫はかわいそうだよ。
Enomoto is such a pure soul. Your headcanon is he's very much into romance dramas aimed at women. Fair enough. Fair enough. I just never... And he is very fragile. I just never pictured him... Basically, I never pictured him as somebody who would read some of the stuff that, say... Shigure would write? And that's kind of the impression that I get from them calling it an indecent book. Look, Cat isn't my name.
そうだよね。だったら、俺はちゃんと名前で呼びたいな。
My given name?
ね、いちかちゃんって呼んでもいい？
He flashed a smile that seemed so pure, my heart skipped a beat. Enchanted by that smile, I unthinkingly responded with downcast eyes. Oh, more of a self-help book for how to interact with women. Okay. That I could see Enomoto reading. Sure, if you'd like.
いちかちゃん。
おいおいおい、ちょっと待った。そこ、何ほのぼのしてんだよ。これ、そのボケボケ SP と和んでる場合じゃねえだろ。
Right? So self-conscious. He wants to be in a relationship. He wants to better himself, and the other guys use it to poke fun at him. The poor guy. No, he just can't win.
岡崎、悪いがこいつと個人的な話がある。今日のところは帰ってくれないか。
個人的な話？
Okazaki looked back and forth between Yanagi and I blankly. His shoulders drooped a bit and he sighed quietly.
わかった。吉成くん、帰ろう。
Yes, hi Tim. Nice to see you again, right?
また来るっす。次は差し入れ買ってきますね。
Oh, by the way, time for a little bit of a grammar lesson. Time for a bit of a grammar lesson with Donna. I'm pretty sure this should be he looked back and forth between Yanagi and me. Because if you cover up Yanagi, like between Yanagi, and you tried to make that an individual thing, he looked back and forth at I, No, that doesn't make any sense. You would say he looked at me. So Tim the Terrible Typist, this is your grammar lesson with Donna. Right, I hope he feels better after Sasasuka's route.
もう二度と来んじゃねえ
When they left, everybody in the room sighed heavily.
バカ猫、なんで連れてきやがった。
まさかお前らいつの間にそういう関係に
Not at all. I just spotted him downstairs. I explained what had happened earlier and how I'd been discovered. Sounds good. I will make sure to look at those in a little bit. Thank you, Spawn. You are awesome. How are Queen and Admiral today?
要は首輪のことがバレなければいいんだ。管轄も違うし、今のところは巡回ルートに入ってるとでも言ってごまかすしかないな。
とりあえず電波調べた限りじゃこの部屋が盗聴されてるようなことはね。そもそもあいつら機械音痴だから盗聴器をつけられるような心配ねえけどな。
それより窓の外に張り付いて盗み聞きしてる可能性の方が
I mean, Edomoto's not wrong. We've seen him do that. That happened before, even on the 5th floor. What's their image of those two? It's Queen's birthday in 2 days! Here we go for just a second. Can you let me know if, is Queen available for something real quick? This wasn't the time to be imagining such things. I had a reason for coming here. So, about today's incident, how much do all of you know about it? Oh, okay. So, if she has a chance, either today or tomorrow, let me know whenever she is in chat, and I might have a little something that we need to do as a chat. They barely had enough to pay Tim for his services. A proofreader for Tim was totally out of their budget. Exactly. Exactly. Summing up what I heard from Yanagi, we knew the crime occurred at the victim's residence. The murder weapon was a suppressed firearm, so the neighbors didn't notice the gunshots. The victim was currently unemployed. He was employed at a game development studio. I think his name was Satoru Tanaka? It matched everything I knew. Oh, that'll be so much fun! I love that!
お前の方で他に得た情報はあるか?
According to statements from witnesses, the victim had moved in recently and seemed to have a nocturnal lifestyle. Also, he seemed afraid of going outside.
当然だな。いつ自分が次のターゲットになるか気が気じゃなかったんだろう。
You're saying that he anticipated that he would be targeted?
コインも一致したし、確定だ。どうせ容疑者はすぐ捕まるだろうけど、あとは俺が調べる。
Oh, Sasasuka ignored my question and continued his report.
被害者の田中悟は8月の事件の発端になった例のネットゲームの開発者だ。
Doing it 2:30 to doing it at 2:30 Central Time. Got it. So that'll be 12:30 my time. Eh? I turned to Yanagi in surprise. I now understood what Sasasuka was getting at. I did! I totally called it! I was like, yes, 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 yes. That makes me so happy that I was able to track all that down the line. Yes! Queen's awake now. Alright, you guys. We're switching briefly over to just chatting. Let me know when she can hear us. Absolutely, please do. So we're just gonna wait a second till we get confirmation that she is able to hear. And then you guys know what to do. Ooh, I just noticed Spawn has the NASA Artemis 2 little tag thing next to her username. That is so cool. Wonder how she got that. I might need to look into that. Okay, sounds good. I'll switch to the game screen while we do that. While we wait for her. You let me know when she's on, okay? So that's why he knew he might be a target. He must have been in constant fear. In August, many players of a popular online video game had been murdered. Oh, here she is! Hi, Queen! So, a little birdie told me that your special day is coming up soon. So, we of course have to do a little something. Ready, chat? Bum ba-dum bum bum bum. Happy birthday to you. Happy early birthday to you. Happy early birthday, dear Queen. Happy early birthday to you. And many more. Happy early birthday, Queen. I hope you have the best birthday on the 26th. I hope that you are so blessed and that it is the best birthday ever. So guys, ad break starting up here in just a minute. Good morning, sunshine. Hope you're doing well. So we're gonna go into BRB once the ads hit. And then you guys will not miss a single thing. Remind you to have a chat with that little birdie. Absolutely not. That little birdie let me know a very important piece of information. We love you, Queen. All right, there's the ads. Be right back. All right, we are back. You're the best, Queen. You are seriously the best, and we love you so much. and are so blessed to know you, and so glad that you have made another, or will soon have made another rotation around the sun. Ooh, coffee time! That sounds delicious. I had my coffee in my protein shake this morning, so I am feeling that caffeine buzz. If Tanaka was part of the development staff for that game, he had reason to be targeted.
ああ、だが問題はそこじゃない。今回の事件で重要視すべきなのは、これまでの X デー事件とは経路が違う。
That's a good point. That is a very good point. What do you mean? You think it might be a copycat crime?
そこからかよ。
Sasazuka sounded disgusted with me, but I paid him no mind and looked at Yanagi.
これまでと同じように、現場にローマ数字やコインは残されていた。白石に確認したが、コインは例の特殊な作りのやつだな。模倣犯でないことは確実だ。
やっぱりわざとってことになるんすかね。くそ腹立つ。
そうだな。じゃなきゃ犯人側の行動に説明がつかない。
What do you mean on purpose? Once I confirmed that I still wasn't quite following along, Sasazuka pointedly sighed very loudly.
操作しないと殺すって言われてんだから、足りない脳み
Hey,
そ
how's it going, Dreamer? Hope you're doing well.
考えたところで使えないだろうけどな。
This man speaks so rudely, says Ichika. I felt the blood rush to my face.
ま、最低限の操作能力は知っときたいよな。お前はなんか不審に思う点とかなかったのか？
Happy the week is over. How's the job? Are you still enjoying your job? Suspicious. What was different about this crime? Oh, definitely the scope of the broadcast. Church work is going great! So glad to hear that! I definitely think it's the scope of the broadcast because they very much limited the people that were aware of what was going on. First, the scope of the broadcast was smaller. The X-Day crimes so far had used publicly viewable videos to highlight police scandals and the inadequacies of the law. But for some reason, this video had only been sent to the police. Yeah! I got it right! Yeah! Ba, 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 I'm a detective. Ba, 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 I'm a detective. Right? And uh-oh. Okay, now we gotta start thinking like a criminal. So we're trying to figure out why would they only send it to the police? I don't think that they would have only wanted the cops to know, because because they made everything else, here's my logic, they made everything else public. Because they made everything else public, it makes no sense why they would suddenly only want the police to know unless they wanted to provoke the police into action and use their being too late as proof that the police don't care, kind of a thing. because now they can say, we sent this tip to the police and they got there too late. What makes you think they can save you? So that's my logic. And I think I'm gonna go with that. They sent it specifically to the police's public-facing email address because maybe they were trying to provoke the police.
広い意味では間違ってないが、大事なのは
Oh no, I got it wrong. Yanagi immediately shook his head.
これまでだって X デイ事件が起こる
With how wrapped up in their ideal of justice.
今回だけに限った話じゃねえだろ。
That's definitely true. I felt shame for my ignorant answer.
ま、あっちの意図に挑発が含まれてるのは間違いねえけど。
That's a good point.
動画の配信を警察内部に限定したのは、警察がすぐには一般公開しないと踏んでたから。
That's valid. That's very valid.
さらに警察内部でも情報漏洩を恐れて、
Oh,
一部の人間
yeah,
にしか
that
知らせねえ。
makes sense. So it's technically similar to my logic. It's just arrived at a different one of those two answers. Yeah, that makes sense. With how wrapped up in their ideal of justice they are, they wouldn't necessarily be eager to pull that kind of low.
つまり犯人は動画を見ることができる人間を一部に絞りたかったってことだ。
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah. But all the others were shown across the nation. Why would they limit it this time? Exactly my question.
そこをお前が考えて答えるんじゃねえの？
Yeah? They limited its release because... I could see them wanting to lead the police astray. I could definitely see them wanting to lead the police astray. They are too meticulous in their sense of justice to have done that by accident. That almost seems too intentional. You know what I mean? So I think it would be that they wanted to throw off the investigation. They wanted... Because they could be... They wanted to throw them off by having this incident while they're plotting their next thing. And they're so wrapped up in incident A over here that incident B... B. You know what I mean? I think I'm gonna go with that one. They wanted to derail the investigation, right?
そういうこと。すよね、柳先輩。
これまでは全国に動画を公開していたが、多くの人間の目に触れ
Yay!
寄せられ
Donna
る情報も多
chose
かった。
wisely this time. Yes!
映っている人、場所、物、どんな些細な情報でも引っかかれば集まる。
ま、無駄な情報が多すぎても混乱するが、捜査側は情報が多いに越したことはない。
That makes sense. There was a specific reason why Adonis limited the release of the video when they usually wanted the general public to watch. Basically, they were afraid that the police would catch on too quickly?
そう。まあここまで言えば、さすがに新人のお前でもわかるか。
But they still made a statement knowing it could be a liability.
で、狙ったかのようなタイミングで、ギリギリ犯人が逃げた直後に、警察が現場に駆け込んだ。
そして、X デイ事件は単独犯じゃない。アドニスという組織ぐるみで行われている計画的な犯罪だ。 星野、ここまでの情報で犯人側アドニスの意図をどう推察する？
They deliberately sent the video to the police. They had chosen a window that ran the risk of the culprit being apprehended. The first thing I could conclude was... Ooh. I'm gonna think on this one a minute. I need a super quick bio break, so I'm going to think on that while we go to a quick BRB for a 1-minute bio break, and I will see you in a minute. Okay, thank you guys for waiting on that. So while I was on my bio break, I got to thinking, we'll see if I'm on the right track here. By the crime was poorly planned. Hey, how's it going, Cybertron? Good to see you. I'm doing well. What are you up to today? By the crime was poorly planned, could that include they didn't realize just how onto them the police are? Because it was mentioned earlier that they were within 20 minutes of saving him, and that was closer than they'd ever been. So could it be? And in that case, that could fall into they're worried about the police investigation because they're worried about how close the police are to finding them and catching them. You've been doing household chores. It's been super fun. You gotta love it. I think it could be that they're worried. But if they're worried, they wouldn't necessarily... It could be more poorly planned in that they... But yet it could also be they're worried about the police investigation, but they also knew that this guy that was the culprit wouldn't know enough to point them in any sort of way. I think I'm gonna go with... So they deliberately sent the video to the police. They had chosen a window that ran the risk of the culprit being apprehended. If they were worried about the police investigation, they wouldn't have done that. I think it could be that it was poorly planned. Like, they didn't necessarily realize how close they were cutting it. You know what I mean? Like, as far as they knew, they were, 3 to 5 steps ahead of the police. And now they're 1 or 2 steps ahead because of how close that window was. So it could be the crime was poorly planned. I think I'm gonna go with that one. Was the crime poorly planned?
そういうことになる。
Thank you! It's like, the more I thought about it, the more I'm like, if it was that they were worried about the investigation, they wouldn't have made it where it was that tight of a window. It just, that wouldn't have made any sense. It would have made more sense that it was poorly planned by not realizing how close. Previous sex-day crimes were elaborately designed murders. No unnecessary evidence was left at the scenes. Suspects with apparent motive had unnaturally clean alibis. The crime scenes had nondescript video evidence. But this time, that was all different. Whether or not they had done it for the thrill, they'd been far too lackadaisical in their crime. If they were slower, they might have been caught, but they still made a video, which means...
なあ、何が考えられる?
They had prepared for that outcome. Even if they were caught, it wouldn't hurt Adonis. Rather, it might play right into their hands. Is that right? Caro, how you doing?
ここまでたどり着くのにどんだけ時間かけんの？
Dude, Sasazuka. Sometimes people need to verbally process things. We don't all have those wheels turning and getting to the right answer internally like you. We need guidance for those wheels. You know what I mean? I'm doing well so far. How about you?
ま、最初だしな。操作経験ねえのにすぐ分かっちまったら逆に。
Thank you, Enomoto. Thank you.
ここに来てあえて計画性の浅い犯行を起こした理由はまだ推測の域だが、駒を切り捨てにかかった可能性は高い。
Fiddling around with a few projects? I love it! What kind of projects are you working on? His late mother never taught him if you can't say something nice, don't say it at all. Exactly! Exactly!
ま、今日の事件の容疑者はもうほぼ絞られてるはずだ。
ああ、おそらく近日中に捕まるな。
Ooh, trying to get a few things together for a yard sale tomorrow. I love it! The conversation had moved past me again, and I thought hurriedly.
これだけヒントを与えても目的達成は揺るがないって自信があるんだろう。だよな、首輪の向こうで聞いてるサイコ野郎。
I imagined a prick of pain to come from the collar in response to Sasazuka's abrasive challenge. Let your dog out, went to bring him in, and found the wind brought in someone's takeout dish, and he was chowing down on the bits left in it, and he didn't want to leave it. Oh my goodness, what a doggo. What a typical doggo behavior. Your Animal Crossing character's birthday is September 22nd and you wanted to do something different? I love it! But the collar didn't respond or inject anything into my body.
何にせよ、アドニツのやり方が変わってきているのは事実だ。指揮系統が入れ替わったが、内部分を使う。これも計画のうち。慎重に見極める必要があるな。
Right, Sunshine? How dare he be a dog? Okay, what's your question, Kara?
それが付け入る隙になるかもしれないっすからね。
As Enomoto nodded spiritedly, Yanagi muttered something.
白石が言うには、だいぶ前から変だった話だ。
っていうか、これ毎回やるのかよ。バカ猫への説明か。
Huh?
今節丁寧に説明してやったところで時間の無駄としか思えない。
Dude, Sasazuka, you came so far in your route. And now you're back to where you had been, and I'm like, no! What? Sasazuka's words struck a nerve. It was true I couldn't keep up with their discussion, and I was aware of my own limits. But you don't have to go and put it like that.
もともと8月は笹塚の担当だ。あとはお前に任せ。
Right, Dreamer? Are we gonna hold a lecture for this stupid cat? I am the victim! Jerk! Exactly!
了解。
Right, now we're back to square one! Yanagi changed the subjects without commenting on Sasazuka's remarks. I guess I should take his silence to mean that he agrees. It wasn't just Sasazuka. Yanagi and Enomoto also thought poorly of my detective skills. But if I could give them any details on what went on at the station, that was enough. That was the only reason I was here. It was a painful realization.
で、お前はどうするんだ？どの事件を追うか決まったのか？
I looked up and blinked in confusion at the sudden question. It calmed me somewhat. I mentally reviewed everything I knew about the X-Day incidents. Sasusuka is right. This team had been pursuing the cases for a long time, so it was clear I was wasting their time by getting involved without knowing anything. The Roman numeral left at the crime scene today was I. The last number would be 0. There wasn't even a month left until X-Day. What can I do during that brief time? My duty and the situation I'd been forced into. When I factored them both in, it was obvious. Compared to the rest of you, I don't have any outstanding talents, nor do I have much experience with detective work. But I want to help out in any way that I possibly can.
お前にできることなんかあんの?
Yeah, that could work very well for a share night. So tonight's more about making progress in our story. Tonight's not as much about sharing as much as it's about just getting together and having that dedicated time and space to write and research whatever else we need to do to make progress in our story. But yeah, during share nights, that is totally something that you can share. That is absolutely something that you could share. I can listen to what people are talking about. When I stated it clearly, the three of them were clearly caught off guard. Yesterday, when I looked through the X-Day files, what jumped out to me was a person that was neither the victim nor the assailant. Right? She's like, I know I don't have much to contribute, but I'll do what I can. I still want to help. She's not letting that be that lack of experience and things like that stop her, but she's saying, hey, I can listen, I can observe, and report back on that. That is something I can do to help. I still want to help. The victim in this incident was a woman who was once the victim of an obsessive stalker.
7月の事件のことか.
Yes. For a time, she was suspected to be involved in the murder of the stalker. She also suffered severe backlash from the public. People were alleging that she might have been stalked through some fault of her own. Her background was thoroughly checked, but no connections were found to either the terrorists nor the man who killed the stalker. After that, her description was excised from official documents. Whether or not she was connected to the incident, it had taken a heavy toll on her reputation. The police bear some responsibility for failing to stop the stalking in the first place. I wondered if I could meet her and ask her about what had really happened. Besides, nobody else is working on this case. I wouldn't waste the team's time, and I was sure my position would help me find some information. That was another reason I wanted to take this one. The assailant was arrested at the scene of the crime and is currently still in detention. He hadn't tried to commit suicide like the detained September suspect did, and was still being held in a detention center. Whether it was actually self-defense is unknown. I want to learn the truth of this incident. After my lengthy proposal, the other three seemed to be slightly impressed. 2-3 character. Hey guys, I'm thinking of sharing a Three Stooges sketch. Let me know how I do. Magnum Copella. Magnum Copella. Magnum or Magnesium Australia. Alfeda Agstrella. Stop. Oh, it's a 2-3 character. Is that Enomoto, the guy with the red hair? Oh, you were hitting him with the top of a cane. Gotcha. Oh, you're hitting each of them. Oh, that makes sense. That was a good one, Dreamer.
一見するとストーカーをこじらせた人物が女性に危害を加えようとして返り討ちにあった。それだけの事件にも見えるな。
殺されたストーカー男の部屋からは X デー事件を象徴するコインが発見されて模倣犯じゃないのは確実だ。
つまりだな、これまで同様に計画性のある X デー事件だってこと。どうだ、わかったか？
Yes.
何偉そうに言ってんだ、単細胞バカ。
うるせえな。新人教育っつったら俺の出番だろうが。
ま、バカとバカがくっついてくれた方が俺は助かる。
Right? Exactly.
口やかましいワカメだなって。つっても7月の事件の情報については俺たちもあんまり把握できてないんだよな。
Nice to see the return of the well-deserved Sasuzuka smacks. Exactly. Exactly.
加害者が交流中だからか、警察内部の動きもやたら
Right?
鈍いみたい。
Seaweed head. I mean, look at the color of his hair. Right? The insults, man. The insults. They're like brothers. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, all the insults that are hurled to Ichika, I'm like, dude, you guys don't have that kind of relationship. Has Shiraishi given you anything?
あいつは今9月の事件に夢中で他の事件に興味を示さない。
I see.
正直、お前が内部から情報を集めてくれるなら助かる。
Okay. With that, the meeting ended. It was late, so Yanagi decided he'd walk me home. Aw, best boy! December 7th incident has been added to materials. While we walked down the stairs, Yanagi looked back at me with a concerned look.
榎本も言っていたが、7月の事件は俺たちの方でもあまり深く調べてなくてな。
There's a suspect in custody after all.
渡せる情報は少ないが、何かあったら連絡してくれ。首輪のこともある。
Thank you. Right? Ichika's got enough to deal with from her own brother. Exactly. Thank you. I was happy for his concern, but it didn't really resonate with me for some reason. A part of me has been relying on Yanagi's team. Not in a tangible way, but I'd been tagging along. And in case anyone asks, a guy outside of an award ceremony admires the brothers' heads and greets them with something similar to what you said. When their friend comes back, he invites them in, and the brothers, already steamed, returns to insult him, and the brothers get slapped. I love it! Your native flowers on Animal Crossing are hyacinths, but you think it gives you a certain type of flower depending on your character's birthday. I love that! I'd been tagging along, but that didn't sit right with me.
ところで星野、岡崎圭とやけに親しいみたいだったが。
Huh? No, I just happened to run into him a few times. We're not on particularly close terms.
とぼけた顔して強引だからな。気づけば懐に入られやすいが。岡崎には気をつけろ。隙を見せない方がいい。
Huh? What are you?
俺が何?
Hi, Okazaki.
What?
Yeah, it was a little bit lost on me too, but knowing that backstory to it makes it even funnier. And I love it, so thank you, Dreamer. We turned around to face the voice. Okazaki was standing there, smiling. I failed to notice him again.
お前、いつの間に。
さっきからずっとここに立ってたんだけどな。
What? Yanagi also seemed shocked that he'd failed to notice Okazaki. I definitely can't get careless around him.
いちかちゃんもう帰るの？だったら俺が送ってくよ。
いや、星野は俺が送っていく。
でも、柳さんは彼女の家を知らないよね。
お前は知ってるのか？
No. Well, he did walk me home one time because it was late.
じゃあ行こうか。
勝手に決めるな。本人に案内してもらえば済む話だ。
Yes! Consent matters, people! Consent matters!
でも、知ってる人と一緒に帰った方が案内しなくていいから楽だよね。
Right now, I was walking down the street between Yanagi and Okazaki. In the end, they couldn't decide which of them would walk me home. Awkward! No matter how much I refused, I was beginning to realize that Okazaki was going to follow me wherever I went.
あのさ、前から思ってたんだけど。
Yanagi, sir, this is not your route. Please don't do this to me right now. I am so stinking excited for Yanagi's route. I cannot wait to get to his route. That made you laugh a little, Spawn? I'm glad. Right? Hoo boy! Hashtag awkward! Okazaki addressed Yanagi from my other side.
柳さんは俺のことが嫌いだよね。
嫌いとかじゃなくてだな。
It's not that I dislike you, it's that you're kind of stalkery. I understood what Yanagi wanted to say. He's doing this because he's worried about the collar. I would be in danger if the collar was exposed. Also, Yanagi didn't seem to accept the reason that Okazaki had provided for why he was protecting the team. It's not that he dislikes him, but he probably just can't trust him.
お前が俺たちを監視しているのは知ってる。関わり合いになりたくないのは当然だろう。
ああ、もしかして俺が君たちのこと全部警察に報告するって思ってるの？
I mean, what else are they gonna think? What else are they gonna think, Okazaki?
そう思うのが普通だ。
まあとりあえず俺の任務のことは置いておくとして。
そこは置いといちゃダメじゃないか。
とにかくね、俺は純粋に君たちのことを知りたいんだ。
なんでだ？
人として興味があるからかな。
While Yanagi and I were at a loss for an answer, Okazaki changed the subject. Thank you!
さっき7月の事件がどうのって言ってたけど、もしかして再捜査してるの
？Eh? I involuntarily stiffened up. Just how long had he been eavesdropping on the conversation? That is a good question. No, it was just something I'd taken personal interest in, so I was asking Yanagi about it. Okazaki smiled softly as I fumbled around for an excuse.
そんなに慌てないで。君の仕事に口出すつもりはないよ。何か事情があるんでしょ？同じ警察官だからって話せないことはあるし、そんなに警戒しなくても大丈夫。興味本位で聞いてみただけだから。
Okay, Okazaki, the point of the Warriors was to show the New York gangs in their purest form. That's good. That's a fair point. Too long is the safe and likely assumption. Exactly. He knows too much. He knows way too much. Yanagi was very obviously having a hard time swallowing Okazaki's supposedly flighty bouts of curiosity. His face said that he was confused because he didn't know what Okazaki was thinking.
7月の事件か。でもあれって正当防衛だって言われてるよね。加害者はすでに捕まってて、ストーカー被害に遭った女性を守るためにやったことだって自白してる。あとは過剰防衛かどうかだけど、守るためにやったことなのに罪に問われるのは少しかわいそうだな。
That's fair, that's fair. Oop, hydration! There you go, and that was the last of my water. In my cup anyway, I can always go down and refill if needed.
Kawaiso. 正当防衛だからといって殺人は殺人だ。許されるものじゃない。
Yanagi's tone was unusually forceful. His expression grew stern.
それに、加害者の男はもともと5月の事件で容疑者候補に上がっていた。
You love the point where the warriors finally get off the train and in spitting distance of Coney Island and see the city environment they were supposed to leave. Is this what we fought to get back to? Oh. Oh, man.
X デイ事件の一つと考えれば、誰が見ても怪しいのは事実だ。
あくまで容疑者候補だし、5月の事件では確かなアリバイもあったよね。それに彼がストーカーに襲われてた女性を守ったのも事実でしょ。守るために必要な犠牲もあるよ。
だからって殺されていいわけじゃない。人の命を奪うのに正当な理由なんて一つもない。
Yeah, I don't remember if I've ever seen that one, come to think of it. But just the way you describe it, Dreamer, I'm like, oh man, that would hit. Like the way that line is being read. I was in my mind, I'm like, oh, that would be like a dagger in the heart. They continued their debate across me. Neither looked like they would back down. They seem to be incompatible. The way they think is completely opposite. Both of them had valuable perspectives about the July case. I reflected on that digression. I see Yanagi and Okazaki off and headed back to my apartment. Near my house, I saw a silhouette. You forgot you had my stream open and you were hearing my voice and you're wondering where it was coming from? I love it. I love it. Oh, Kazuki. He's back early today. I felt relief as I went to talk to him.
それじゃあ、明日スタジオで。楽しみにしてる。
Oh, it's Ishiki. I noticed that Kazuki was talking with someone. He dresses loudly. Is that Kazuki's friend? But I recognized him from somewhere. While I was thinking about that, both of them head off. What should I do? I missed my chance. Kazuki stays out often recently, and he also goes out late at night, too. If he's hanging out with the wrong people... Ooh, to follow Kazuki or the other guy? I feel like she would probably follow Kazuki. I feel like she would be more concerned. Like, I feel like she would much rather go follow the person that she knows to try and get answers, even if it takes a little bit of shaking down to get there. Than to go and follow a complete stranger. Let's follow Kazuki. If it feels like the timing is right, I should try and ask him. He'd tell me to not get involved, or that it didn't concern me, and try to change the subject. I sighed at the predictable outcome while I followed Kazuki inside. Yay! Scarlet Ivy! Thank you so much for the raid! It is so good to see you guys. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Donna. I am a Christian family-friendly variety streamer. We play all different kinds of games, and right now we're playing a mystery visual novel from Japan, and tomorrow is our slow start Saturday, so we'll be playing more so Fridays we typically play more story heavy games like this, and then Saturdays we do slow start simulator games, that kind of thing, that are more chill. So I hope you're doing well, and I hope that you enjoy your stay. Very nice to meet everybody. Right? Zero! We're talking with Adonis! We've got Zero! Because Zero was mentioned earlier. He was one of the, like, either head guy or, like, next to head guy kind of thing. Oh, no worries, Caro. It's a common enough name. I'm not worried. Thank you so much for the recommend, Sunshine. Love you guys. What were you playing today, Scarlet? Oh, so this is... Ooh, Chroma Gun 2. Tell me about that. Yeah, absolutely, Caro. I appreciate that. If you accidentally slip up and use my off-stream name, that is totally fine. That is totally fine. It is a common enough name. I'm not worried. Ooh, a color puzzle game like Portal. Nice! That sounds really up my alley. I might need to check that one out. How was it? Did you enjoy it? Yeah, because this tells me that Zero is kind of like, not necessarily like bottom tier, but he's like, kind of like this is the captain. If we're using a military style, this guy is like the lieutenant, and Zero's the sergeant, if that makes sense, is kind of the vibe I'm getting. Because the way that he's phrasing this, where he's saying, I wasn't told a thing about the incident that the agent carried out today. You have the lieutenant talking to the sergeant, saying, your corporal, private, specialist, whatever, was sent out on a mission and I wasn't in the loop on it.
12月のカウントダウンは一つだったはずです。それなのになぜ?
Loving it so far. You completed the first one a while back, and this came out in February. Ooh, did you enjoy the first one just as much? Maybe, but he could also have heard it from people under Zero, theoretically. maybe. That could be. I guess it's just for me. I'm feeling like he's got to be kind of like lieutenant level because of the way that he says I wasn't told, which kind of gives more boss vibes. But I could also see, and like the way that he's saying there should have only been one countdown in December, so why do this? Because now it's clear Zero is going rogue. Oh, good! Gonna go into lurk mode. Glad to catch you on and have a wonderful stream. Thank you so much, Scarlet, for trusting me with your community. And we'll definitely have to check you out sometime. And thank you for the recommend, Sunshine. Enjoy your lurk, Scarlet, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. And God bless, my friend. Ooh, Manila clams? Very cool. Yeah, because to me, between the fact that whoever's in charge of, or whoever our question mark person is, says, I wasn't told about the incident that the agent carried out today. That kind of gives vibes of being higher up, typically in the know about things like that. Especially when you take into account this line about there should have only been one. So why do it?
増やす? どういう意味ですか?
Oh, so now I'm kind of taking that back. Because now, with the way this is, maybe they're equal rank. Maybe they're equal rank. Because this, the way he's saying to increase them, the implication is somebody told Zero. Yeah, now I'm kind of getting a vibe of somebody higher up told Zero to increase the frequency. Now I'm kind of getting the vibe of maybe that last line about there should have only been one is kind of a, yeah, we're equal rank, this is how it's always been, this is how it should have been, I'm used to being just as knowledgeable as you. So what's going on? Why wasn't I just as informed as you? So now we're seeing there's somebody else pulling the strings.
あなたの命令なら執行者は動きます。それだけは私もコントロールできません。
Ooh, but now he can't control them once they do. Interesting. Interesting. So now we almost don't have a paramilitary thing going on at all now. Because the agents move on Zero's orders, but yet this guy is used to being in control of those agents. Which kind of seems to imply that these agents almost have two bosses. I'll be honest with you, Spawn. I haven't logged on solidly in a while just because of how busy life has gotten over the last little while. I invited one person to come and move on to the island before I kind of took a before life got busy, and now nobody's nobody's moved. Right? My villagers probably think I died or forgot about them. They're probably going, Donna, do we need a new island person in charge of making decisions? Right, the poor villagers.
彼女が7月を気にしていたんですか？やけに彼女のことを気にするんですね。いえ、何でもありません。長年の悲願が果たされる日は目前です。雑事に惑わされず。
So maybe they are kind of equal rank. You'd come over and look around, but won't let you because of your internet? Yeah. Are you guys able to... Were you guys ever able to kind of get in touch with somebody to help you figure all that out?
たとえ私たちが選ぶ道をたがえても、昔近く
Alrighty, so we have 5 minutes before we need to end, so I am going to go ahead and save here. Alright, let's go ahead and save here. I'm gonna close out that software. Go to just chatting. I'm gonna go ahead and snooze that ad break. Right? That timing worked out really well. See you tonight, Caro. Oh, it's a T-Mobile internet thing? Ah, gotcha. You almost forgot Lynn Thigpen, the chief of Acme Detective Agency herself, plays the radio announcer. The chief, like from Carmen Sandiego? Is the radio announcer? Yeah, we've got just a few minutes and I'm getting kind of hungry. So we're gonna figure out who is online that we might want to raid to. Let's see here. It looks like we've got a collab going. Sending you guys all the love and hugs. We could feasibly go to the collab. We could go to... We could check out a new game called Windrose. I'm not 100% sure what Windrose is. Let me take a look. Sounds like a plan, Soul. You have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your day. Let's take a look here. Oh, it's kind of like Sea of Thieves. Okay. Do you guys want to check that out and see how that goes? We can raid XP Church for Gamers or Pastor Susie because they're doing like a little collab thing of that. We could give that a go. See you virtually tomorrow and in person next week. And of course, texting and memeing each other in the meantime. Love you, Soul. What do you think? You guys want to check that out? So I'm Watching You People is part of a collab with Divareya and Catherine Naomi. Do you guys want to check that collab out? We can totally do that. If that's something that you guys want. Alrighty. So, for those of you who are subbed, here is your raid message. For those of you not subbed, here is your raid message. I'm gonna get mine all, my copy paste all set to go. There we go. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. And I will see you guys tomorrow. And always remember, God loves you, and so do I.